Aquarius, if you've been feeling that something is about to change, pay attention. The moon may be revealing a blessing you almost missed. August 21st carries a powerful message for Aquarius. Something hidden may finally become clear, and what first looks like an ending could actually be the beginning of an unexpected blessing. Stay with me until the end, because the sign I'm about to describe may already be happening in your life right now, and you might not have noticed it yet. The hidden message behind August 21st. Aquarius, August 21st is not simply another day on your calendar. Symbolically, the moon represents emotions, intuition, hidden truths, and the parts of life that are not immediately visible. It governs everything beneath the surface. The feelings you haven't said out loud, the thoughts you keep circling back to late at night, the quiet knowing that lives underneath your logical, analytical Aquarius mind. When lunar energy becomes especially noticeable, it can feel as though something beneath the surface is asking for your attention. You may suddenly understand why a certain situation unfolded the way it did. A person may reveal their true intentions. A delayed opportunity may begin moving again. Or you may simply experience an inner knowing that tells you this is not the end. The blessing connected to this energy may not arrive in the form you expected. That is why you must not judge the moment too quickly. Sometimes the universe removes confusion before it delivers clarity. Sometimes a closed door protects you from walking into the wrong future. Think about this for a moment. How many times in your life has something fallen apart, only for you to look back months later and realize it was actually protecting you? Aquarius, you have lived this pattern before, and you may be living it again right now without even realizing it. The moon doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It works quietly in the background, rearranging pieces you can't yet see. And on August 21st, that quiet work may be reaching a turning point. Why you may feel something is different. You may notice that your emotional reactions are changing. Things that once controlled your attention may suddenly feel less important. Conversations that once drained you may no longer have the same power over you. You may want more silence, more space, and more time to understand what you genuinely want. Not what you were told to want, not what looks good from the outside, but what actually feels true to you. This does not necessarily mean you are becoming distant. It can mean you are becoming more selective with your energy. Aquarius is known for seeing possibilities that other people overlook. Your mind naturally moves toward the unconventional, the future, the what if. But sometimes your mind moves so quickly that you miss what your intuition is quietly saying underneath all that mental noise. August 21st invites you to slow down. Notice what keeps returning to your thoughts. Notice which opportunity feels peaceful rather than desperate. Notice which connection gives you clarity instead of confusion. These small signals may be pointing toward the hidden blessing. Pause for a moment right now and ask yourself, what has been quietly repeating in my mind this week? Not the loud, urgent thoughts, the quiet ones, the ones that return again and again, almost like a whisper. That whisper may be more important than you realize. The blessing may be disguised as a disappointment. Here is where the message becomes especially important. Something you wanted may not happen exactly as planned. A response may take longer than you hoped. Someone may become distant. An opportunity may change direction without warning. At first, this can feel like rejection or bad timing. It can feel like proof that things simply aren't working out for you. But what if the delay is creating space for something better aligned with who you actually are? Not every disappointment is punishment. Some disappointments are redirections. The moon's symbolism reminds us that we rarely see the entire picture at once. You may only see the missing piece today, while the reason behind it becomes obvious later, sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later, sometimes not until you're standing on the other side of it, looking back with completely different eyes. So if something feels uncertain around August 21st, do not immediately label it as negative. Give the situation room to reveal itself. You don't need to have the full explanation today. You only need to trust that the explanation is coming. This is one of the hardest lessons for an Aquarius to accept, because you like answers, you like logic, you like to understand the why before you're willing to feel at peace. But this moment may be asking you to feel peace first and let the why arrive later. A truth about someone may come to light. For some Aquarius viewers, this energy may centre around another person. Someone may finally say what they truly feel. Someone who has been inconsistent may become more obvious in their behaviour, or you may realise that you have been interpreting a relationship through hope rather than reality. The blessing here is clarity. Clarity can hurt for a moment, but confusion can drain you for months. There is a strange kind of relief that comes from finally seeing a situation exactly as it is, even when what you see isn't what you wanted. If someone chooses to leave, let their actions speak. Don't chase an explanation from someone who has already shown you their answer through their behaviour. If someone chooses to stay, look for consistency rather than promises, because promises are easy to make, but consistency is the only thing that proves them true. You do not need to chase an explanation from someone who refuses to give one. Sometimes the greatest blessing is finally seeing a situation exactly as it is, without the filters of hope, fear, or wishful thinking clouding your view. Aquarius, you are naturally gifted at understanding people on an intellectual level, but this energy may be asking you to trust what you feel, even when it contradicts what you've been telling yourself. Your intuition becomes stronger. Around this period, you may experience stronger intuitive impressions. A random thought may feel unusually meaningful. You may wake up remembering a dream in vivid detail. You may repeatedly notice the same theme, message, or idea appearing in different places. A number, a phrase, a name, a symbol that keeps crossing your path. Rather than obsessing over every sign, simply become more observant. Your intuition does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it feels like a quiet sentence inside your mind. Wait. Go. Do not respond yet. This feels right. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply offers quietly and waits to see if you'll listen. The key is to separate intuition from fear. Fear usually creates urgency and confusion. It pushes you to act quickly, to protect yourself, to control the outcome before it's even clear what's happening. Intuition often creates a strange sense of calm, even when the answer is difficult, a steadiness that doesn't need to rush. On August 21st, give yourself permission to listen before you act. Let the quiet voice speak before the anxious one takes over. A financial or career door may be opening. This hidden blessing may also connect with your work, money, or long-term direction. You could discover an idea that deserves more attention than you've been giving it. A conversation may introduce you to a new possibility you hadn't considered. Something you once considered insignificant may become valuable later once you understand its real potential. Do not underestimate small beginnings. The opportunity may not arrive with a dramatic announcement. It may arrive as a message, an invitation, a suggestion, or a simple idea that refuses to leave your mind no matter how many times you try to dismiss it. Aquarius, your advantage is your ability to think differently. You see systems, patterns, and futures that other people don't notice yet. Do not automatically reject an unconventional path simply because it does not look like the path everyone else is taking. The most meaningful opportunities in your life have rarely looked ordinary. Why would this one be any different? The emotional release. You have been waiting for another blessing, maybe emotional rather than material. You may finally release something you have carried for far too long. Perhaps it is resentment towards someone who never apologized. Perhaps it is regret over a decision you can't undo. Perhaps it is the need for someone to validate your worth before you allow yourself to feel it. You may realize that closure does not always come from another person. Sometimes closure begins when you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to move forward. You have been waiting for an apology, an explanation, a conversation that may never come. And the moment you stop waiting for it is often the exact moment freedom begins. The moon is often associated with emotional cycles, and August 21st can symbolize the moment when an old emotional pattern begins losing its grip on you. You do not have to carry yesterday into tomorrow. You are allowed to set it down, even if no one ever tells you that you're allowed to. Do not ignore the small sign. Aquarius, pay attention to the small thing you have been dismissing. Maybe you keep thinking about starting something, a project, a habit, a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe you have been considering a change but telling yourself it is not the right time. Maybe you have received an opportunity that looks too simple to matter, so you overlooked it in favor of something that seemed more impressive. The hidden blessing may be connected to exactly that. We often expect major blessings to feel dramatic, but many life-changing moments begin quietly. A single decision can change a direction. A single conversation can open a door. A single realization can end a cycle that's lasted years. Do not wait for a lightning bolt. Sometimes the sign is simply the feeling that you are ready. If you've been feeling ready, even quietly, even uncertainly, that feeling itself may be the sign you've been asking for. What Aquarius should avoid. During this energy, avoid forcing outcomes. Do not chase someone for reassurance they aren't offering. Do not make an impulsive decision simply because you feel impatient with how slowly things are moving. Do not compare your timeline with someone else's. Their chapter is not your chapter, and their timing was never meant to be yours. And most importantly, do not assume that a delay means denial. Give things enough space to reveal their real direction. If something is meant to remain in your life, it should not require you to destroy your peace just to keep it. Anything that asks you to abandon yourself in order to hold on to it was never truly meant to stay. Your responsibility is not to control every outcome. Your responsibility is to recognize what feels aligned and act with awareness. Not with fear, not with force, but with quiet clarity. The hidden blessing is closer than you think. The deeper message for Aquarius is simple. Something may be rearranging itself in your favor, even if you cannot see the full picture yet. What looks like waiting may be preparation. What looks like distance may be protection. What looks like an ending may be making room for something you haven't even imagined yet. The moon does not reveal everything at once. It reveals enough for you to take the next step. So do not demand the entire map. You don't need to see 10 steps ahead. You only need to see the one step that's right in front of you. Ask yourself one question. What is the next honest step I already know I need to take? That answer may be more powerful than any prediction I could give you today. The pattern. You keep repeating Aquarius. Before we close, there is one more layer to this message, and it may be the most important one. Look back at the last few times something felt uncertain in your life. Notice the pattern? You worry, you overthink, you imagine the worst outcome in vivid detail, and then more often than not, the situation resolves itself in a way you never could have predicted, sometimes better than what you originally hoped for. This is not coincidence. This is a pattern, and patterns exist to be recognized. You have survived every uncertain chapter that came before this one. Every single time you thought you couldn't see a way forward eventually appeared. Not always on your schedule, not always in the form you expected, but it appeared. So why this time would it be any different? Aquarius, your mind is brilliant at spotting patterns in the world around you, in ideas, in systems, in the future itself. Turn that same gift inward for a moment. Look at your own history. The evidence is already there, waiting for you to notice it. Trusting what you cannot yet see. There is a particular kind of courage required to trust something before you can see it clearly. It is easier to trust a plan once it's already working. It is much harder to trust the quiet, unfinished middle, the part where nothing looks resolved yet and the outcome is still forming somewhere out of view. That is exactly where you may be standing right now. The moon does not ask you to understand everything today. It asks you to remain open, to keep noticing the small signs instead of dismissing them, to keep choosing peace over panic, even when peace feels harder to reach. This is not blind faith. This is earned trust, built from every other time life rearranged itself in your favor, even when you couldn't imagine how. Aquarius, you do not need certainty to keep moving forward. You only need enough trust to take the next honest step. The rest will reveal itself exactly when you're ready to see it. Aquarius, August 21st, is a reminder that not every blessing arrives looking like a blessing. Sometimes the greatest gift is clarity. Sometimes it is a new direction. Sometimes it is the courage to finally release what has been holding you back. If something feels different around this time, do not ignore that feeling. Observe it, reflect on it, and allow the truth to reveal itself naturally, in its own time, at its own pace. Your next chapter does not need to look like your previous one. If this message resonated with you, comment "I am ready" below as a powerful affirmation that you are open to receiving the blessing meant for you. And if you are an Aquarius, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because more powerful cosmic and spiritual messages are coming your way. Share this video with another Aquarius who may need to hear this message today. Remember, sometimes what you think you are losing is actually making space for what you are meant to receive. Stay open, stay aware, and trust the next chapter.